in Spokane, and also in the Coeur d'Alene classes lately, we've been teaching meditation classes for some years now in both Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. And right now the classes are working through Living with an Open Heart by Venerable Thupten Chodron and Dr. Russell Colts, how to cultivate compassion in everyday life. And in Spokane, because we have the luxury of meeting many weeks, we're going really slowly through this book. And last night, our class was on working with unwanted thoughts and emotions. And I found something in here so extremely helpful, and so did the class last night. I thought it'd be useful for the community to hear and also to do as a Bodhisattva breakfast corner. And it comes from this point of view that we decide that we're going to start really working on our minds and start to overcome our judgmental qualities and our negativity and stuff. And so we set a motivation every day to wish to not harm, or, to have kindness be our guide. And then sure enough, somebody walks across our path and snarls or, takes our stuff or does something, and the mind reacts. It's a habit we've had for a very, very, very long time. We can't just decide, oh, okay, now I'm going to be different, and be different. We have to put some work into changing the habit. And so this too is a really wonderful aspiration, and one of the things that often trips us up is our own judgments about our capacity to change, or our own judgments about our ability to live up to our daily aspiration. So if we set our motivation, oh, today I want to be kind, we here at the Abbey, we do our purification of speech and think, oh, today I want my speech to only come from a kind place, and then, even before the bell rings at breakfast, I've already said something snarly. One kind of common, very common for all of us response is then to turn on myself and go, you fool, you jerk. You just promised yourself you are going to be kind and compassionate, and look, you've already mouthed off to somebody and blah, 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 blah. Not noticing that you're also already mouthing off to yourself. And that the habit of self-criticism, we externalize our criticism and we internalize our criticism, and it's one of the ways that we really sabotage our heartfelt aspiration to change, is by somehow thinking that if we beat ourselves up enough, we are going to change. Now, I know if we look at it externally, we know very clearly that if you beat people up, it does not help them change. It's a terrible thing to do. But we don't really notice it when we do it to ourselves, because it's conditioning. It's a habit of mind, and maybe we were raised that way, maybe we weren't, but there's still this self-critical voice that's trying to keep us in line all the time. So this comes more from the psychology part of this book. This book combines psychological methods as well as Buddhist methods to develop compassion, but they combine very nicely, and so this method was really juicy. We're talking about here that, first of all, in order to change these patterns, we need to first acknowledge or recognize that we have them. So, some meditation time helps us get more aware of what's going on in our body and speech throughout the day, so we can recognize, oh yes, I'm angry. The next step is to accept that. Not condone it, not to say, oh, it's okay that I'm angry, but to really acknowledge and accept, oh yeah, this is anger in my mind. This is a judgmental thought. And then there's an outline here for a very beautiful 5-step process for changing that recognition into fulfilling our aspiration. So point 1 is to accept and acknowledge the emotion. His example, I notice I'm enjoying how much that person is suffering. Well, is it true that sometimes we do? Sometimes we do. Look at that. She's getting what she deserves. Oops. Then I hate myself for even having that nasty thought. So much so that I want to bury it. But that doesn't help. You just go, oh, look, I just had a nasty thought. This is what's happening in my mind. Step 2, given my conditioning, given my habit, given how I was raised, given what society tells me, it's normal to have that kind of thought. So we actually give ourselves some empathy for that. And then we immediately turn it to, and my real aspiration is to have a kinder, gentler mind. My real aspiration is to have compassion. So right in that moment, we accept, we acknowledge that it's completely normal and natural for us to have this. And then we turn to our motivation. And that's not how I want to be anymore. So that's step 2. Step 3, notice, feel good, rejoice. Look, I caught it. This is a good thing. I caught that I had this nasty thought that wants to harm this person. That is great. I've had this kind of thought since the day I could think in this life, and who knows how many far backs. Today I noticed it. This is a good thing. So now we're encouraging ourselves rather than beating ourselves up for what we just recognized. Then again we turn back to our compassionate motivation. So this is a real opportunity for me to change this habit. I really want to come from a compassionate place. And then gently, without forcing it, you shift your mind to say, and so may she be happy. May this person be well. I wish them whatever you bring to mind. So in that way, we are definitely changing the way we think. But we're not doing it, well, it actually does change, as opposed to try to beat ourselves up to do it. There's a great sentence here. Though it is easier to attack ourselves than to practice this more lengthy compassionate approach, the compassionate approach is much more likely to create positive change. Yes, it's easy to go, what's wrong with you? How come you can't develop compassion? You've been trying to do compassion for 20 years. What's going to happen? You're going to get this before you die? I don't know. You know, that kind of mind, we all have it in our own words. But the mind that says, oh, look, I have that thought. Look at how notice how I'm having it. Empathize. Well, of course I have this thought. I've had this habit for so long, I haven't even wanted to correct it. But now I really do want to turn this to a mind of compassion. So, okay, good for me. I caught it. Hooray. Again, I want to renew my commitment to be of benefit to sentient beings, and so I need to develop and want to develop my happy and kind heart. Right in this minute, let me wish that person happiness instead of criticism. Now, can we do this on the spot? At the beginning, probably not. But we can take these 5 steps to the cushion at the end of the day when we sit down and think about, how did I do today? Well, I was already snarling by breakfast. Then take these steps to then. You don't have to do it in that moment. It's not a lost chance. But when we sit down to examine how we did today, we can think about, okay, I did that. What was going on in my mind? And then go through the steps of giving empathy to ourselves, changing our motivation, and making the commitment that tomorrow I'll try again. You can't even say tomorrow I'll do better. But tomorrow I'll try again. And I'll keep trying it, and I'll keep doing it, and sooner or later, for sure, the habit starts to change. No question about it. So for those who have the book, it's chapter 12 or 13, I think. But anyway, it's a very useful multi-step way of reorienting our thinking. That seemed so productive that I thought we would be good to share it here too. So may we be happy. May our compassion grow. And by that, may all be